You're now listening to the 11:30 podcast. Enjoy the show.
I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. 11:30 podcast, Dre and Willsy is the one. Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. Let's get it. 11:30 podcast, Dre and Willsy.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Welcome everyone to another episode of the 11:30 podcast. What's goody, everybody going out there? Appreciate everyone tuning back in for another episode. You know what time it is. It's not 7:30, it's 11:30, man. It's time for the podcast show. Appreciate everyone tuning in once again. If you're new to the show and you haven't done so already, I don't know what you're waiting for, but definitely do me a huge favor. Smash the subscribe button down below. Like it, leave a comment, share it, and also don't forget to follow the 11:30 podcast on all social media platforms. But you guys, like I said, I'm back at it with the show, man. I got an awesome guest that's going to be joining me here on this week's episode. Charlene, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. Charlene Harry. She's an entrepreneur, a transformation coach, and a life consultant, you guys. She's also a personal development author, you guys, man. She's a speaker, well-versed entrepreneur, man. Just all the above, man. Really, really great lady. We're going to be chatting with her and everything she got going on and sharing her amazing story, you guys. But like I said, we don't waste no more time. We're going to bring on my wonderful guest. How's it going?
Hello, 11:30 and on.
How's it going? How's everything?
Everything is everything. I'm so excited to be here today. Thank you so much for having me, and a big shout out to all your listeners. Hello, everybody.
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on the 11:30 podcast. I think we were supposed to hook up sometime, like do an episode earlier this year, but I think our message just got a little lost though. But I'm just also coming back from break, so I guess this is also the right time when it was supposed to happen. So once again, like I said, appreciate you for taking the invite, coming on the show. How's life treating you?
Life is treating me good. I can't believe that I'm in the middle of my last virtual book launch. I wrote this book in 7 days and published it in 90, and I decided that I was going to create my own virtual book launch in order to keep it moving. So this is the last book launch. It's tonight, September 22nd, but I'll be posting it live on my YouTube channel. So I'm excited to be here and talk about my message and how I want others to stand in their confidence and just walk in it all day long.
Okay. I dig that. I definitely dig that. You're a very successful woman, very intelligent though. For my listeners and viewers who just, haven't seen you or, don't know too much about you, can you tell everyone about yourself though?
Well, yes, for sure. My name is Charlene Harry. I am an industrial engineer. I've had some experience with some Fortune 500 companies, but I've leveraged my experience in the government sector and I work there. But I'm also an entrepreneur with my wonderful husband. We just celebrated 20 years of marriage, and we are both real estate entrepreneurs where we buy and hold real estate property. And he is my biggest inspiration. So for all those that are married out there, shout out to the married couples. We can do it. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that's what's up. Definitely shout out to the married couples. So congratulations on being married for 20 years. I think that's awesome. A lot of people don't even get to 5 years or a year. So I think that is wonderful. That is definitely wonderful. Like you said, you've been doing your thing and working in corporate and in government for over 25 years. How does the journey begin for you though? Because I know it's an amazing story.
Well, I'll tell you, it started when I tried to relocate from the north. I'm actually from New York, but he was stationed in the Army in Texas, and I relocated from the north to the south. And I had, a few accomplishments with some Fortune 500 companies, but I was deemed overqualified and found myself jobless. And I was just like, what in the world is going on? And I'll never forget, DeAndre. I applied for a position that was my degree, and I was denied not once, but twice. Even an interview, and even after obtaining that same position, and I kid you not, I obtained that same position. Okay, I was falsely accused of my credentials and accomplishments. So after debunking those lies, I was told just to be thankful and not to rock the boat. So like, I don't know what that means to you,
Yeah,
but
yeah. I was just about to ask what that mean. Sort of.
what does not rock the boat mean? And so if anyone on here can relate to feeling like they were, destined for something, it was my degree. You know what I mean? You felt like this was what you wanted to do, but you felt like you were excluded from it. That's how I felt in that moment. And I kept hearing a voice inside me tell me that I was meant for more, and then my skills were meant for the greater good. So it's what prompted me to write Stop Settling. You were designed for greatness. Because it's like the voices in my environment got so much to me that it started to drown my own voice. You had talked about wanting to do the podcast, and then somehow things just got in the way of you starting to do the podcast. And that was the same for me. So much so that it became, I became, I should say, complacent. And I realized that I had lost my drive. You know what I mean? And then once I realized that others also had lost their drive as a way to just get through the day and not to rock the boat, I decided to stop settling in my career and my life. And I guide others on how to do the same. So you see, I believe the not rock the boat mentality is set up to keep us limited in our possibilities. You
Mhm.
know, I believe it's set up to stop you from your greatness. Now, I don't ride a boat as much as I drive a car, right? So I have developed my 3-step car method to help you build your confidence when you are surrounded around those that wish to silence your drive. Can you say vroom vroom? If you're listening, say vroom vroom, because that is what is outlined in my book, Co-Create with Confidence, Leverage Your Voice, and Capitalize on Your Talent. And in that book, I just go through my CAR method, which dives into the 4 steps to clarity. And there's 2 types of actions that get you your one result that you are desiring. So that's the CAR method in a nutshell. But basically, the message is when you are surrounded, by naysayers, when you are surrounded by an environment of people who want to just tell you that you should not rock the boat, or just be thankful. I'm so tired of that term. Just be thankful you got a job. I am thankful, but there's more to that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I'm just excited about this movement, and like I said, tonight is the last book launch, so I'm excited to just share more announcements and give away some freebies. Like I'm giving away a free signed copy, giving away a first chapter of the book. So if your listeners are interested, I invite them to check it out on YouTube.
That's awesome. I think that is really, really awesome. And I want to ask you, how did you get through all that, sort of self doubt and just being sort of also dealing with and also was it because it was sort of a male dominant field that the men was trying to tell you sort of stay in your place and don't rock the boat? Because I think people also can see when I think an individual is bound for greatness, and they try to just throw everything at them, bricks, stones, words, and just try to just keep them down. And my question is, yeah, how was that trying to dealing with that and also getting back and also dealing with naysayers.
Yes, so for sure I had to deal with the naysayers, and for sure I had to get, I was getting arrows thrown at me from left to right. And I do believe it has to be because I am a Black female engineer, you know what I mean? And I was going into an environment that was very good old boy network. Let's just keep it real, all right? And so there was this climate and culture that even though I was, in my opinion, like the token, they didn't see much value that I could provide besides, saying that they hired a Black female engineer. And so what I knew I needed to do, which I hope your listeners are doing already, is personal development. If it had not been for my personal development, I would not be where I am today, because there were times where I was like, they're not leveraging me. They're not leveraging me. And all I did in that time frame when they weren't leveraging me, I was leveraging me. You hear me? So I was leveraging my talents, and I was doing what I needed to do in order to increase my skills so that I could be utilized and appreciated. Okay, with my skills and my talents. And so for me, it was definitely reading books or just learning a craft and building on that craft to make sure that I made myself valuable, or kept my my skills and talents sharpened, so to speak.
I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome. And you just like your book, you don't settle for less, or you don't settle for anything. And I think a lot of people just settle just for sort of anything, And me going on 4 years, I stopped settling for less though. And you got to go for more and be able to take that leap of faith, and also just not worry about what other people think of you, and especially being a black person in Caucasian dominant field and stuff like that, or male dominant field. You really gotta prove that you belong and stuff like that. So can you talk about also your book, Stop Settling, and sort of advice, or what would you tell someone else who is sort of settling for less?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's the basis for why I wrote Stop Settling, for because too often we get into this mode where we're like, oh, I got the wife, I got the children, and I have to provide for them. And sometimes we lose sight of the fact that we're more than just a wife, we're more than just a mom. We're a spiritual being. You follow what I'm saying? And for me, when I
Mm-hmm.
think about the legacy of people, it's not that they were married to someone, it's not that they had children, it's what they did in their impact here on earth. And so when I can remember that, and I remember, like, my connection to my purpose here on earth, that's what kept me going. That's what kept me with the faith, because I knew I was placed here for a reason. And I think so often when we're in a working environment trying to provide for our family and be there for our husbands or wives, that we forget about ourselves. And so it is like my biggest passion that people connect to their divinity. To me, it's like a lost subject. We don't talk about, that divinity that is within us. But that's the power that ignites me to know that I am more than a thank you for the job. It's the power that makes me recognize that there's more to this physical being than just being here as a physical being. There is something about being connected with my creator that makes me know that it's about a legacy. It's about what am I leaving behind. It's about who am I touching when I am touching. Like, I'm a speaker, but I really truly believe that wherever you are a speaker. You're using your voice, and you can use it in a positive manner, or you can use it in a negative manner. And so it's important to me that I am speaking life, not only to myself, because that's the key. You understand what I'm saying, DeAndre? If you're
Yeah.
not able to speak life into yourself, how can you speak life into anyone else? And unfortunately, when you're in that environment, that working environment, where it's kind of like downplayed, no one's really talking about it, and it's kind of like just get through the day, you can lose sight of that voice. And so it's important to me that we connect with that spiritual aspect of why we are here. It is just for a moment. I love to say we're all going to be here forever, but let's keep it real.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? At some point in time, we're all going to pass. We're just passing through. And so what are you going to do with that dash? What are you going to do in the between of that passage? And it's important to me that we connect with our divinity. We understand the power that we have with that divinity, and we bring it back to life, because that's what needs to happen. To me, I feel like I'm surrounded by, everybody just dead, and I'm like, come on, y'all, let's go.
I dig what you say. You got to speak life into yourself, and I think you can't be uplifting and be proud of yourself. I don't think you can really sort of dish out too much of that energy into someone else, though. And another thing you said too, and before you started speaking, I think people start settling down, or settle just for husband, wife, I have kids, and sort of that's it, and don't really continue on with um they purpose, or what they have going on. Can you explain that? Because I feel like some individuals would think that, okay, well, since I just got um I got my kids, and I'm married, and I'm all good, and I don't really have to do too much though. Like, I don't understand.
I understand what you're saying, and it's a common mentality. It's kind of like how we were brought up in the society. It's like the whole idea of get a house, get married, have children, and then you think you're good. But for me, the reason why I wrote "Stop Settling," you were designed for greatness, because there was something put on your heart, even at a young age, that said this is what it is you want to do. oddly enough, I wanted to be an actress, but I'm not an actress. I'm an engineer, right?
Oh
But
wow.
but I'll tell you this, I have used those skills of acting in my engineer field. And it's like, you just don't know where it's going to evolve you in. And I think too often the world puts us in a box, like this is what you're supposed to do, and this is how you're supposed to do it. But I think, like I said, when we think about the spiritual experience in a physical being, we're here for an experience. We're here to evolve. We're here to have fun or indulge or learn more about what it means to be a physical being. And so what does that mean for you could mean something different for me. And there's nothing wrong. I want to just put this out there. Nothing wrong with wanting to have a marriage and a kids and that be all. There's nothing. If that is your calling, that is your calling. But I'm talking to the one, okay? I'm talking to the one who knows that there's something else tugging in them for them to do. There's always signs. It just keeps popping up, like I tried voiceover. I tried, all these other kind of stuff, but there's something still popping up that says you're supposed to do something, and you're having this experience to figure it out. So enjoy it, learn through it. And I like what I talk about in my book about going through the emotions. You're going to go up and you're going to go down, but you got to figure out, where is the right medium or what is the right track to take to keep you on that high. Because just like I wrote in my other book, my ebook, The Empowerment Tea, this is how I stay empowered on a daily basis. We all were designed for good. You know what I mean? It's just that we're living in a time of bad and good, but we have to remember that good, which is why I say, empower the divinity, because when you can empower the divinity, it was set up for you to be good and to feel good and to do good things. So how do you do that? You have to really just delve into the personal development and just kind of embrace this experience. That's what it is. It's an experience, and it's different for everyone. That's what I want to say.
Hey, you're right about that. Right about that. What was it? When was it that you sort of made that turn from just I wanted to be an actor as a kid to now doing what you're doing now?
Well, how, like I said, there's these external voices, right? So I
Yeah.
came from a very protective and very overprotective family, and they were like, we ain't paying for that. So I was like, okay. Well, how am I get this going? Because I need to get out of this house and I want to go to college. So I
No.
decided that I loved math, and I decided to do industrial engineering because it was a mix between operations and management and looking at things from a bigger picture, which is what you're doing when you're acting anyway. You're looking at things from a bigger picture. So I chose to do engineering when I realized that. Also, I didn't really want to wait on tables too. I was a little bougie, but not that bougie. But I didn't. I didn't want to wait on tables, and I knew that I didn't want to have to really sell my soul, because that's all I saw with that industry.
Yeah.
It's like if you really want to make it, you're gonna have to make some sacrifices that you really may compromise with your beliefs. And I knew for a fact I didn't. But I'll also share with you this one thing too, is that, and I talk about it in Stop Settling, is I didn't want to always be approved by someone else. Something about always having to audition for 2 minute thing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You know what I mean? And being rejected. I mean, because you got to go through a lot of no's before you get to the yes. But it was like I didn't want to have to continue that parallel of constantly, waiting for somebody else to approve of me. I saw from a very young age that I was talented, and I didn't. Not that I didn't need the approval from other people, but I didn't want to always be in that situation where I was waiting for somebody to tell me, okay, you're good or you're not. And I just didn't want it. So I decided that engineering was a field that I could control, my emotions, because I'm very emotional. And so I said, this is what I want to do. And I like math, and I knew I could make some money. So that's why.
All right. I dig it. I dig it. When did you realize? When was that moment you knew that you was just worth way more than settling for less?
Oh, I love this question because it puts my husband on blast. I will be I will be getting like promotions and recognitions and awards and stuff like that. And my husband would be like, that's nice. And he wouldn't be excited.
So you throwing
I
shade?
was like, what is going on? He was like, there ain't no job that can pay you what you're worth. And just something about hearing it. I mean, it means the world. It come from my husband, but just hearing those words and understanding that there's no job that can pay you what you're worth. And oftentimes when we're in a job, we're trying to, get to a certain level of income. We're trying to go up the scale. But really there is no, and that's why I talk about the divinity, because the price that his son paid for us is priceless. And it's like that life, it's priceless. Your life is priceless. And when I can remember that, then I can remember no matter what I do, my creator and my universe will meet my intention and create, the life that I need, that I am trying to create by my words. So his words spoke to me so strongly that I knew that, what, they could give me all the promotions in the world. It like skyrocketed my confidence. Okay. Because it was like, y'all don't need me. I mean, y'all need me more than I need you. Okay.
I think that's so cool. You got a good man on your hands, though. And can you talk about how important it is to have a partner like that can uplift you when you could be at a low point, or just needing some, confidence to boost you up? And how he just said, there's no job that can pay you what you're worth, and you're worth more. So how important is that?
Oh man, I tell you, you got to be very careful who you lay down with, my sisters and brothers, too, because at the end of the day, it's like a lifetime, and it can be very draining. So I big up to all those that recognize that it's not like one and done. We're not looking at this and going, oh, I can get a divorce. We're looking at this going, how can we better each other in this journey, in this experience, and how can we do it together? We're supposed to be together. So how do we do it together? I think it's so important that couples have date nights, couple have business nights, couple have family nights, couples get together. I think it's important that there's some time, definitely spent on nurturing that relationship. Is so important to me, and I talk about it in one of my classes called Master Your Time, because it's really about being able to do it together. So often we live in an I society, per se, where you think like you're supposed to do everything by yourself. And my husband and I talk about this all the time, with the females and the movement, and I can do this by myself, and I just, to me, there's nothing wrong with being able to honor what it is that you want to do, but it's no different for the male, and how much more powerful could it be if we both were complementing each other in that process? Not only is it uplifting you, but when we talk about legacy, it's uplifting the children that see that. I don't know about you, DeAndre, but most of the people I grew up with are divorced. Okay. And it is something about being able to say, I see a married couple and they've been married for 20, 30, 40 something years. It does something to your spirit. I don't care if wherever you are in your relationship, it touches you in a different way because we don't see it too often. And so I'm a very big believer of making sure that you see the impact the person is going to make in your life. And it's not just words, it's actions, because actions will always speak louder than words.
Mm-hmm. You made a so good point. And me and my fiance was actually just having this conversation the other day, and actually I was just telling you about how I got a 1 year old now, and little boy, love him and everything like that. But and how you just said, it's important for couples to have their date nights and spend time together and stuff like that. So I was telling her, I was like, I think we should just have some date nights and stuff. But she's in this phase where she's a new mom, and she's so excited. And I spoke with another gentleman, and the best way he could put it, I guess, it's like you get this new shiny toy, and you just can't put it down, that you just love the most, though. And that's that. I love him, and I think obviously it would probably be a different type of love, because obviously she's the mom, and she birthed him and everything. But not necessarily how important, but I think it is very imperative to still love on each other and also spend time and talk with each other. uh just although you got a kid, I don't think the relationship should just be on pause or just be on hold, and well, you will come later when I get to you and stuff like that. I think it should be more so, let's do this together, let's figure it out, let's still pour into each other, instead of just saying, you know what, yeah, you will always be a mom first though, but you know, we've been together for about 10 years, so now, and I feel like I'm on the back burner now, you know, like, and I know it may sound a little weird, and I jokingly said to her, I said, yeah, I'm jealous. I really am jealous. You don't share your couple with me no more, but you're sharing it with him. So it's like, I think it's important, you know, for it to keep going, you gotta definitely pour into one
Absolutely. You don't have to tell me I'm like a mama for from
another.
ages of 3 to 19, y'all. So I understand, and I really understand. That whole like new mom stuff is very different, right? You're like new
Hmm.
mom is new mom. It's like, oh my gosh, it's, like you said, it seems like something new. And also, I want men to understand too is that you always feel like you're doing something wrong. Like
Yeah,
am I doing something wrong? And so it's
mhm.
important for us to recognize that even as we raise our children, it's not gonna be perfect. It ain't gonna be the way we thought it was gonna be or see it to be. But at the end of the day, they are ours, just like my husband is mine. And it's important that I make time for each one that is mine. So they don't feel not as if they're not as if I'm not paying attention to them. And that's a struggle and it's a challenge, when you're working and you have businesses and you've got a little, toddler or a baby. It can be a challenge. So I understand the challenges there, but I do think it's important that we build it around a community, right? Like a village. We have a village that helps us to ease that concern of not being away from the child while we are, because I be feeling guilty sometimes too. I be like, let me check my phone, honey, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You see, that's what I was saying. Like, if we go on a date night, I'd be like, she'd be like, well, I'm gonna be calling every 5 minutes to check up on him. I'm like, well, babe, we ain't gonna have no time to like really like, do our thing. So just he good, like he's really good
yeah.
though. Like, and I don't know, and like how you said, I said this last night. I'm like, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Like I don't know, like.
It's funny that you said that, DeAndre, because both parties feel like it, right? Both parties feel like they're doing something wrong, but all that's happening is it's just a new experience. And we have to realize how to, handle that experience. And like you said, he's gonna be okay. Like we have
Hmm.
to recognize that not only is the baby gonna be okay, but guess what? I'm gonna be okay with the baby being okay, and I'm gonna be okay. We have to be comfortable with not always being in charge or in control of the situation, and there's so much power I feel when it comes to allowing your divinity to be empowered because you recognize that it's not just you, there's a bunch of angels, there's a village that is surrounding you to make sure that your intentions and your desires are being met. It's not just you, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody want this baby to be okay, and if they don't, okay. We need to have a
Yeah.
conversation. But everybody wants to, like I said in my empowerment team, we're meant to be good. We're meant to feel this sensation of feeling good. And when we don't, that to me is the biggest eye opener that something is out of whack. When we feel like things are out of straight is when we recognize something is not good. And when that happens, DeAndre, that's when we should be listening because something is trying to tell us we need to do something different than what we're doing, not continue on this path because it keeps coming to you because you realize something's out of whack. And you may not realize it, but it'll come to you if you just silence yourself for a minute or two.
I appreciate that. I definitely do. That is real awesome, and I would take that advice and just go on with it because she just be so worried and stuff like that. Especially obviously one and talking about school and daycare and everything like that, and knowing how the world is, and she just be like, I'm just so scared for him, and I'm like, she asked me, and I'm like, no, I'm not, because I believe and I know faith he's gonna be like you said just fine. So.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that balance that y'all have, like to know that it's going to be okay and she may not. That will help bring her up, hopefully and eventually. You know what I'm saying? But to your point, there is a lot of crazy stuff going on. Don't get me wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
But I am a firm believer that if I focus on the bad, I will receive bad, and if I focus on the good,
Exactly.
I will receive the good. So it's important that we recognize the words that we're using. It's important that we recognize the energy that we're using in addition to the words, because that. I mean, my slogan is protect your energy in order to elevate, because
Hmm.
if you don't, then you can sabotage yourself and sabotage your intentions and the things that you desire. So it's so important that we be very mindful of how much we want to say we are concerned. Like, it's okay to be concerned, and it's okay to put things in place to address those concerns. But then at some point, like you said, you just gotta trust it's gonna be good because I did what
Right.
I needed to do.
Exactly. So you're so right about that. So right about that. Okay, we speaking of kids though. You had a rainbow child after the age of 40 though, which I think is amazing. And I had to Google it, to figure out what exactly was though. But can you explain to my listeners though that, and can you speak on
Absolutely. So I had to Google it when somebody told me. Like,
that?
what's Rainbow Child? So after my third child, and to be honest, even after my second child, I had been trying for a while, but it had not happened until 6 years later.
Mm,
And I still wanted more children. And so we kept trying and trying. And 6 years later, I was again pregnant. But unfortunately, I had a miscarriage. And so it was like, okay, what's going on? And then I had another child, my baby boy, who's 3. And they told me that's a rainbow child because you had a death and now you have a birth after that child. So he is what they call a rainbow child. That's I'm a son child. I'm a son child. Yes.
I think that's awesome. Really, really awesome because me and her, we both in wheelchairs. We both have a disability, so it was more so like, well, for me, I never think I would have a kid. So that's why, when I started this podcast and before I got started, I had a change of mindset and started believing in myself and believing in the journey, and you put the hard work in and things gonna come and stuff like that. So I just knew, like, even when I was just telling you when she was like, well, I don't know, I'm sort of worried. And that comes, that faith within me comes from just knowing also, because like I said, I didn't know we were going to have a kid, but God blessed us after what, 8.5 years of having one.
Wow.
So if you worry, but I know things are going to be amazing and great because He ain't make us wait all this time. Now, like God is God, but He ain't make us wait all this time for us to just be worried. He gave us an awesome blessing in our hands to move forward with that. So that I think that is a child is a blessing, whether you realize it or not.
Yes, yes, and the first ones, and we call them the first fruits of your union, right?
Mhm.
They go down forever. My daughter she just turned 20, and she was born like 9 months after we got married. So she was the first fruits of our union, and yeah, they are really a blessing. And when you think about a rainbow, that's a blessing too, because that was a sign that He had said He wasn't going to wipe us out from the face of the earth for all our foolishness, right?
Yeah.
He said, I created you for good and you're doing all this bad, so I think it's important that people recognize that even with a rainbow or even with a child, that our Creator is talking to us through our children. And I thank the Lord for that, right? Like, I see myself
Mhm.
so often in my children. Sometimes I'll be mad because I'm like, was I this troublesome to my mom? Really?
I do the same thing. I be like, man, because I knew I couldn't stay still for my mom when she was putting on my shoes or anything, giving mama a hard time. Little man, he don't want to stay still. He just want to be kicking and everything like that. I'm like, You know what, Mom? I didn't call my mother. I apologize. I tell you, I
Yes.
apologize very much for real, because now I understand it. Now I understand it. Also, when you were like, "Well, I can't have nothing to myself, and I can't eat nothing to myself," and as soon as I open up a bag of chips, whoop, that head stick up like she coming out, like a groundhog trying to see a shadow and stuff like. I was like, look over
Oh
there
my
and
goodness.
eat. Okay, all right, man. But look just like
Beautiful.
me, so yeah, it is. It really is beautiful. I love it. I definitely love it, though.
Well,
What?
congratulations.
Thank you so much. What keeps you inspired? What inspires you?
Definitely
Mhm.
knowing where I came from, knowing
Mm,
that my creator created me and me only uniquely to be me. Obviously my husband, he inspires me. And my children inspire me. And then just the possibilities alone inspire me. Too often, when people think about possibilities, they're thinking about the negative possibilities. But I think about the infinite possibilities that are open for me, and what is available to me is available to me. And I cannot succumb myself to other voices or other ideas of the possibilities, but staying focused on what he has created for me and the possibility he has for me, which is to multiply my talents and to multiply what he's given me. So I'm inspired every day by the mere fact that I'm here, and I have the choice. I'm inspired by the choice.
I dig it. I dig it. You inspired that you hear and the choices, though. You also encourage others to go after their deepest desires, or just go after what they want in life. And a lot of people sort of get lost and sort of just get, like you said, complacent. What would you tell someone, or some advice you have for others to just basically just go after what they want in life and stop settling?
I would say if you feel like you're out of whack with something or something doesn't feel right, that I want you to take a moment to think about why it's out of whack and really kind of identify what will bring it back into alignment. And when we can focus on what will bring it back into alignment versus why we're out of whack, we'll be on a better path to getting to what it is that we desire in our life. But when we continue to just ignore it and not think about it or pass over it and say, oh, it's okay, it's no big deal, and don't rock the boat and just be thankful, all those kind of terms. There's more to life. I really believe that we're here to evolve as spiritual beings in a physical form. And so I encourage everyone to recognize their spiritual connection to their creator. And when they can do that, then they can see the power that they have, because he's omnipresent and he's just just so powerful, right? More powerful than me, right? But when I can connect into his power, then I'm encouraged to know that I can do just about anything. Are you on mute?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I was not trying to, the background noise to disturb what you was actually saying. I was just saying, Charlie, I appreciate you for so much for coming on here on the 11:30 podcast show, sharing your amazing story, having a dope conversation. But before we, wrap this up, you have any questions, any shout outs, anything you'd like to say?
I like shout out to my husband, my family.
I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. Okay, well, shout out to husband. Shout out to husband and your new book, like your new book, Stop Selling. When did that comes out?
I'm still working on a launch date for that. It's actually in formatting right now, but the other one has already been published. Co-create with confidence, leverage your voice, and capitalize on your talent.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Like you heard us say, all the links will be down below for everyone who wants to get a copy, and definitely check it out and read it, man. This was an awesome conversation. Charlene, sit tight. We're gonna take a quick break. I got the WTF moment and more. We're gonna wrap up the show. You're listening and you're watching to the 11:30 podcast. Appreciate you.
That's right, new merch. Yes, new merch is available now. Head over to bonfire.com/the 1130 podcast to place your order. I have t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, hats, you name it. Everything you want from the 1130 podcast is right here in one place. So head over to bonfire.com/the 1130 podcast to pick you up some monumental gear ahead of the new season of the 1130 podcast. Go get you some now.
TV is more than cable for less than cable. More unexpected plot twists.
Ooh.
Less unexpected fees. More committing to new shows. Less committing to an annual contract. More being held in suspense. Less being held on hold. More modern. More simple. More than cable for less than cable. Try YouTube TV for free.
What's good? What's happening? What's going on? Yo, it's me, Brian B. That's right, and I'm telling you guys to head on over to YouTube today and make sure you subscribe to the Beeline Entertainment LLC. Check us out. We all over the place.
Yo, what up? This your boy Kendall Stones, aka Coffee Weaston.
This your boy DOE, Good Brother Bowl.
And we are the Dirty Hills. You already know, man, you tuning in to 11:30 podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Not 7:30, but 11:30.
Dude, that's my job. Not 7:30, but 11:30.
Yeah. And you have been Dirty Hills approved.
Yo, we back here on the 11:30 podcast. Appreciate everyone sticking with me throughout the short break. Yo, I want to shout out my awesome guest that was on the podcast show this week. Shout out to Charlene Harry for coming through on the show. Really amazing time chatting with you. Dope conversation. Really helpful insights. Also talking about the parent and things that that newly stage as a parent and stuff. So I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. All the links are down below, so you can definitely get a copy of Charlene's book, and you can definitely tap in with her and all the things she have going on. Her being a well-versed speaker, entrepreneur, all that, man, for real. So definitely shout out to Charlene for coming through here on the 11:30 podcast show this week, man. It was a great show. Been a great week, man. Yo, before the break, I told you guys, man, we got a WTF moment that's coming up. But you guys, man, what's going on with the whole Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith ordeal, man? It's like they can't stay out the limelight, man. I mean, if they supposed to be a married couple or whatever, man, why they can't, or at least why she can't keep whatever goes on in their house in their house instead of letting it all out. And I don't know. I don't know. When I was growing up, man, Low Down Dirty Shame, man, that was my movie. And that was the movie I got on Jada Pinkett Smith. And now I don't even look at her the same no more. It's like, but damn, like, then she had the nerve to comment on the smack, all that, man, like, crazy, man. It's a crazy, interesting week, man. My little man, he's one. Yo, man, I'm gonna get you guys some videos, man. But just being in the moment, and I'm the type of person that, being on the podcast, and man, I got a podcast this day, that day, got a live show here. Sometimes I gotta just back myself out, and sometimes just be in the moment. And when you got a little one, you don't have no other choice to be in the moment. And man, I don't be having that time to rush to get my phone. But man, put him on the bed, he get off by himself. Man, he just growing so fast, and I'm loving every bit of it, man. Really loving every bit of it. But you guys, man, I got my wheelchair back. I know I was talking to the guys on Commission Talks how I was on a live episode and one of my wheels it fell off, and I was like, oh man, really? And the wheelchair people called me and was like, yo, man, we're going to have to come get your wheelchair and take it for the whole weekend.
and we got to give you a manual wheelchair. And I'm like, okay. Like, is it going to be comfortable? And it wasn't comfortable, but, me, I'm always making the best out of a certain situation where, you get a sort of a bad hand, and you just got to go with it. Definitely just got to go with it. Man, it's been a great show, everyone, man. I appreciate everyone tuning in. My headphones want to mess up, man. My headphones want to mess up. A great show for everyone who tuning in. Just to let everyone know, beyond 11:30, you guys. Yes, beyond 11:30. Cooking something up in the kitchen. Not going to share too much, but I just want to let everyone know that is returning this fall, you guys. Yes, returning this fall. And also, it's Wednesday, so definitely tap into Commission Talks. We're going to be on Buzzing with Marlo this week. Chatting all things wrestling, man. So definitely go subscribe to Buzzing with Marlo. Subscribe to Off the Top Ropes podcast. Commission Talks, man, is with 3 podcasts come together as one, man, each and every Wednesday. We kind of like discussing the new time right now, but we're gonna let you know with that in the future when we definitely post it. But if you tune in Wednesdays live 5:30, man, whether it's on the 11:30 podcast channel, Buzzing with Marlo channel, Off the Top Ropes podcast network channel, man, we deliver some great content, great debates, man. It's always fun. Blackheart and Shiz. I said Blackheart and Shiz. Blackheart and Warren Marlowe is always going at it. It was a crazy debate last week between Blackheart and we had a special guest and Brian B. He stopped past and joined us. So if you haven't seen that, definitely tap in and definitely check that out, you guys. But we're going to move on here on the 11:30 podcast show. Before I wrap it up, you guys, man, it's time for the WTF moment of the week, you guys. Yes, WTF moment of the week. And speaking of my commission bros, man, when the show was gone off, was it last week? Yes, it was last week. We was done with the live, man. It was about 2 hours or so, and I was like, whoa. But I was shouting my man Warren Marlowe, and I'm looking for some episodes, man. So I want to shout out my man Warren Marlowe. I did see the show that you recommended me, and it is my WTF moment of the week, boy. Boy, oh boy. Yo, if you haven't checked it out, man, definitely go check it out, man. It's right now, and I believe it's on HBO Max or Max. If you can find it any other where, definitely check it out. It's called BS High. BS High stands for Bishop. What was it? Bishop School High, the bishop or whatever the hell it was, man. Like, it was so crazy because it was this guy decided that, man, let me gather about 40, 30 football players, maybe 50 football players. We're going to put them all together. We're going to come up with a name of the school. The school was fake, you guys, man. The school was so fake. And I felt so bad for I think it was the quarterback guy, man, because you could see, like, in the beginning when they were interviewing him, and like at the end, I was like, man, my boy don't look good at all, man. You could tell he's stressed. Everybody who was on that team or had anything to do with Bishop BS High and the coach and everything, they don't even have nothing to do with football. The quarterback, I think, is the only one who sort of had an opportunity, but the coach, man, came up with a way. He was taking these guys to hotels, not paying the hotel bill. He didn't have a training team. Like if the guys got injured, he didn't have any medical staff for the team. Barely no food for the football players or anything like that.
You may not remember a wild story from a couple of years ago when a fake high school football team played the best team in the country. The result was ugly. IMG Academy beat Bishop Sycamore High 58-0. Now there's a documentary going behind the scenes of exactly how this happened.
IMG to kick off to Bishop Sycamore.
Do you want my hands like this, like that?
Just be natural. You don't have to try.
Coach Roy Johnson told us they had a number of Division I prospects.
Too high, tip, intercepted. Thanks to the pick six. Into the end zone. He'll waltz in, and that will do it.
lot about the students, too, in this film, their stories and their dreams. And a lot of those cases, these were upended by the events of this team. What was it like hearing what they went through?
You know, that was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done, just probably in life, to sit across from these kids and hear them tell the stories of this really heartbreaking and painful experience.
Bro, like it was really insane, man. Like, if you haven't checked this out, I don't want to give too much out, dog, but dog, like, the dude is black. Now, there's something I ain't speaking for all black people, but there's some black people out there that be like, oh yeah, man, you know what? Capital One or such this bank gave me a loan. Man, I ain't paying that back. You feel me? And I heard some black people say that. You feel me? Like, oh no, they got me, or they go sign off on a car and never pay on the car note or whatever like that. They got away. But dude was just black. He was just like, man, I just didn't pay it. I didn't feel like it was more stuff on my mind. He said he was a narcissist. He was insecure and everything. Like, bro, like, if you haven't seen this documentary, it's about an hour and a half, 90 minutes, man. Check it out when you guys get a chance. Shout out to my man Warren Marlowe. I'm a big sports documentary guy, especially where it's like, I'm just gonna say I'm a big sports documentary, person. So this one right here was definitely on the list. So definitely go check it out, man. Definitely go check it out. There's a bunch of stuff I can tell you guys sit here and go check it out. But that was on my WTF moment of the week, man. I said, yo, I could not believe it. A fake school, everything, man. These guys, they wind up making it on ESPN, and that was another big deal. They wind up making it on ESPN, man, and playing IMG Academy, one of like the top schools in the nation. So like, it was crazy, and these guys, man, they got their ass blown out, man. Like, it's as simple as that. Like, it's in the name, BS High. Like, this was clearly some bullshit. From every player that was supposed to be on the team. Hell, I think it was the quarterback who didn't have, I think they ran out of helmets, didn't have enough equipment. So I think one guy had to use an old helmet that he used to play, I guess, in high school or whatever. But bro, most of these guys were all grown-ups. None of these guys were under the age of 18 or 17. These were all grown-ups, giving these guys literally a second chance or a second opportunity at football, at life, and trying to make it to the NFL. And he brought him in by saying, yo, man, I can get you to a D1, a Divisional I program, top programs, I'm assuming, in college football. I'm still learning. I think when Coach Prime got into college football and came to Colorado, I know he was at Jackson State, but I know since coming to Colorado, it's been a sort of a big deal. But I've been trying to keep up, man. But boy, Colorado got their ass blown out the other day, man. It was like they was winning. It was up like 30-0, and I said, oh, okay, they got this. Look at the ticker, come back. Man, they lose by 2 points. Come on, man. Come on. And I say everything went wrong, in my opinion, when that big Colorado game, it was the weekend. I can't remember what day, but it was the weekend that The Rock came down there to Colorado. He was on the ESPN college football kickoff show, whatever. And he came into the locker room, spoke like, these guys, man, they young, they hungry, and trust me, and look it was one of them people on that team. It was one person on that football team that experienced that evening, experienced that night. Just so many celebrities and came out to the game. They won, man, we on a rock and roll. We got Deion Sanders as a coach. I feel like everything went to their head. Now, I'm not gonna, I don't know. I'm not in the football shit. I'm in a wheelchair. You feel me? I ain't played football. I don't, quite know. But I feel like some of the stuff could have went to a couple of players' head and was like, shit, you know what? hey man, if I don't play football, ever again, man, if I don't ever do this ever again, man, I'm good. Like, this was the moment, man. You had Offset in the crowd. You had a bunch of celebrities, man. Bunch of celebrities at that game that night, late night game that had everybody watching till like 2-something in the morning or whatnot. But it just seemed like sort of after that, the football team haven't got their wits back. I think they had got a one, but they did win a game after that, but they just haven't got their wits back, man. So we'll see what that goes, but also definitely check out BS High, man, because that was some bullshit. Speaking of bullshit, man, while we on the sports thing, before we wrap it up, what was it? Travis Kelce, I think his name, Travis Kelce, who played for the Kansas City Chiefs. Whoa, like, come on. We were talking about, at least I brought that up with a young lady, and we were talking about relationships. Actually, that was an episode a couple of weeks ago with young lady Tiffany Harvey. We were talking about how certain relationships are business relationships. Now, all of a sudden, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift going at it. Yeah, okay. Okay. All right, you guys, man, I'm about to head on out of here. Great show. Once again, shout out to Charlene Harry for coming through here on the 1130 podcast show this week. But before I wrap it up and go, you guys, don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. Follow the 1130 podcast on TikTok at the 1130 podcast. Like the 1130 podcast on Facebook. Subscribe, man. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button down below, you guys, here on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram at the 1130 podcast _. Man, other than that, man, it's been a great show. I'm out of here on out of here, man. Until next time, you guys, stay safe, stay blessed, give all the glory to God, man. Won't he do it? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels, and I'm out.
I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. 1130 podcast, Dre on Wheels, he is the one. Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Yeah. I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. Let's get it. 1130 podcast, Dre on Wheels, he is the one.
He the one, nigga.
So let's get it, baby.
He the one.
Who with me?
So breeze, baby.
Let's get it. You with me? Yeah, they gon' hate, but they ain't stopping this. I'ma keep making hits. Dre and Wills, you know it ain't no copying. Was you sitting there on the carpet with us? Yeah, we knew we had some options. We blessed